Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a really powerful metaphor for growth, both personal and spiritual. We're going to talk about what it takes to go from just doing a bunch of different things to actually becoming a whole, integrated person. All right, let's get into it.
So let's kick things off with the big question that really frames everything we're talking about today. What's the difference between the activity of trying to be something and just being it, you know? When does all the work, all the building finally stop and the real state of just being begin?
The text we're looking at talks about this as a massive shift. It's kind of like growing up, right? When we become adults, we have to put away childish ways of thinking and understanding. It's a journey from seeing the world one way to seeing it in a completely new light.
And here, you can see those two stages side by side. On the left, we've got what's called a childish faith. Now, this is all about activity, being busy, right? Worship, devotion, lots of action. It's based on what you can see, what's tangible, and ultimately, it's driven by our own zeal, our personal effort. But then, look to the right. That's the goal, a mature faith. And this is a total 180. It's not about doing more, it's about becoming one with the Word. It's about a new way of knowing that leads to a totally different, more integrated state of being.
Okay, so how do you get from point A to point B? What guides this whole transformation? Well, like any big important project, it doesn't just happen randomly. You absolutely need a plan, a guide, a blueprint.
Just think about a Lego set. You get this box of awesome pieces, right? But you're never going to build that cool starship on the box cover without the instruction manual. That little booklet is everything. It shows you exactly how each piece connects to the next to make the whole thing work. All right, now let's scale that way up. Think about building a house. The guide here is a super detailed blueprint. That's what turns a giant pile of lumber and wires and concrete into a home you can actually live in. Without that blueprint, it's just a messy construction site.
And that right there, that's the heart of this whole metaphor. In this spiritual journey we're talking about, the blueprint, the master plan, is what the Source calls the Word. It's this core body of knowledge that gives you the complete design for assembling a whole new self.
But wait a second. This brings up a pretty big question, right? What about all that stuff from the childish stage? You know, the busy religious activities, all that effort. Is it all just a waste of time? No, not at all. But its role is probably a little different than we might think.
Let's go back to those Lego bricks. Every single one is essential. You can't build a robot without them. But, and this is the key, without the instructions, they're just a pile of plastic. They've got all this potential, but they haven't become what they were meant to be.
And it's the exact same idea with these motorcycle parts. Lying there in the garage, they've got so much power locked inside them. Every gear, every bolt is there. But it's only when they're put together, following the design, that they actually become a powerful machine that can take you somewhere.
So here's the bottom line. Our own personal effort, our zeal, all our busy activities, without that guiding blueprint of the Word, they are just a collection of parts. They're necessary for sure, but they can't create the integrated whole by themselves.
So this whole idea of assembly, it's not something you do with your hands, right? It's not about building something outside of yourself. This is a deep, internal transformation. It's about rebuilding yourself from the inside out. And there's a clear process to it. Step 1, you hear the Word. That's like getting the blueprint handed to you. Step 2, understanding the knowledge. This is where you really start to internalize the design, to see how it all fits. And finally, step 3, creating a new life. This is where that blueprint becomes the actual living structure of who you are. See, the knowledge, that blueprint, it doesn't just sit in your head like a bunch of facts you've memorized. It actually gets in there and reorganizes how you think, how you see everything. It literally sparks what the text calls a new life. It basically becomes your new operating system.
Okay, so this brings us to the big why. Why go through all this? What's the point of this internal assembly? What is the finished product supposed to be?
Well, the Source points us to this really profound idea from Scripture that God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. And that just nails it, doesn't it? The whole goal isn't just to go through religious motions. It's to create a structure for a real, vibrant, truly alive existence.
Let's go back to that house one last time. Think about it. The point of building a house isn't just the activity of building. It's not about hammering nails forever. The goal is to finish the house so that it becomes a place designed for living. And the exact same thing is true for a fully assembled self. It's meant to be this vibrant dwelling place for a whole new kind of life.
And so we'll leave you with this to think about. When you look at your own efforts,
All your activities. What are they building? Are they just a scattered pile of really good intentions? Or, guided by a blueprint, are they actually assembling a truly living structure?